Hey guys, Carter Waite with Compass Real Estate San Francisco here. There's no doubt we're living through unprecedented times. Now more than ever, it's important we step up for our communities and play our part in protecting our neighbors. The statewide shelter in place has already shown early signs of success in helping to slow the spread of this crazy virus, and it could be the difference in this pandemic lasting weeks instead of months. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty of what's to come. A lot of clients and friends have reached out asking how COVID-19 and the volatility of the stock market will impact the real estate housing market. As with all things currently, the market is day by day, hour by hour. Some buyers and sellers are on hold, and I'm supportive of their decision and over communicating to let them know what comes next. Others are still buying and selling right now, and they're doing so with our protocols in place for safety, smart marketing, virtual showings, and more. On a macro level, I'm hearing a lot of concerns about a recession and a housing crisis. Before we dive into the details, what really is a recession anyways? Well, the textbook definition is a temporary economic decline of gross domestic product, GDP, in 2 consecutive quarters, or in other words, 2 periods in a row where our economic output as a country has slowed. Listening to financial experts like Goldman Sachs, they're anticipating GDP in Q1 to be slightly down, while in Q2, they're predicting GDP to be down around 5%, with the majority of non-essential businesses currently on pause. That said, I've heard varying figures, and no one will know exactly how things are going to pan out for the time being. At times like these, I think it's super important we look back at historical data to shed some light on what we're currently facing. Over the past 40 years, we've had 5 recessions in America, during 3 of which home prices have actually appreciated by 5.4% on average. Let's look at the numbers. During the 1980 recession, home prices grew by 6.1% on average. In 81, they grew by 3.5%. In 91, they decreased by 1.9%. During the dot-com bubble of 2001, home prices increased by 6.6% on average. It's important to note that between the years of 2000 and 2002, the S&P 500 corrected by over 45%. In 2008, the housing crisis caused homes to depreciate by 19.7% on average. That's a big number, and because it's the last most can remember, a lot of people are worried that this is the 2008 crash happening all over again. No one has a crystal ball of exactly what's to come, but I think the data says otherwise. Today's market conditions are very different from when housing was a key factor triggering the recession. Let me repeat, the 2008 recession was largely driven by the housing bubble, not the other way around. To that end, here's 5 reasons why today's housing market is very different than the crash that occurred in 2008. For starters, it was much easier to qualify for a mortgage then, whereas today we have very strict lending standards. Secondly, while price appreciation has been strong recently, it's nowhere near the rise in prices that preceded the 2008 crash. Thirdly, we don't have an oversupply of homes in the market. We actually still have a shortage. In 2008, there was an average of 8.2 months supply of housing inventory, whereas today, we're still undersupplied on an average of 3.1 months housing inventory. The fourth factor, homes became too expensive to buy in 2008. The affordability formula has 3 components: the price of the house, wages earned by the purchaser, and mortgage interest rates. 14 years ago, prices were high, wages were low, and mortgage rates were around 6%. Today, prices are still high. Wages, however, increased, and the mortgage rate is about 3.5%. That means the average family is paying less of their monthly income toward their mortgage payment than they did back then. Last but not least, most homeowners today are equity rich. Leading up to the housing bubble, people were using their homes as a personal ATM. From 2005 to 2007, America pulled about $824 billion of equity from their homes. From 2017 to 2019, that same number was $232 billion. People learned their lesson, and they've left a significant chunk of equity in their homes. Today, over 50% of homes in the country have greater than 50% equity. Crazy. On a local level in San Francisco, open houses, public tours, and traditional private showings are banned through April 7th for now. Instead, virtual showings will become the new norm. Looking at recent data from March 15th to March 22nd, 309 listings, about 26% of all available housing inventory in SF, has been put temporarily on hold or otherwise withdrawn from the market. Some of these properties are still available for purchase. A lot of sellers are just adapting to new market conditions and plotting their best course of action. In the short term, we expect the number of home sales to go down with the open house ban and stay-at-home restrictions, though at this point, we're anticipating pricing will remain stable. Longer term, once the shelter in place is lifted, we're predicting a fairly quick recovery with continued growth from the pent-up consumer demand and backlog of listings waiting to hit the market. That said, the reality is the full impact of the coronavirus on the housing market is still unknown and developing daily. All this said, right now is a very interesting opportunity to be in the real estate market. As a buyer, interest rates are still hovering near all-time lows, which means purchasing power is at an all-time high. When global investors sense increased uncertainty in the marketplace, there's a flight to safety in both bonds and stable assets like real estate. On the flip side, a lot of sellers are pulling back from the market and still trying to adapt to our new operating environment, which means less competition if you're thinking about listing your home for sale. Of course, the degree and nature of the COVID-19 outbreak may change, and that's why our team will continue to provide you with the most up-to-date information possible. So what can you do if you're still not sure if it's right to begin the home buying or home selling process? Our team would be more than happy to offer you a virtual consultation. We can discuss your specific needs in detail, and we can also provide you with a virtual tour of homes you may be interested in checking out. For sellers, we can discuss the best way to market your property and generate ultimately an interest list so you have a line of eager buyers ready to tour and offer on your home when the ban is lifted. Ultimately, you have to determine what's right for you as a home buyer or home seller. Our job is to support your family however possible during these novel times. And if nothing else, provide you with hyper-local context that may be lost in national media coverage. We'll continue to keep you updated as much as possible and over-communicate as things are developing. Our team remains open for business, and we've adapted our operations to meet the demands of today's marketplace. Please know you can call, text, or email us at any time, and we are here for you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and know we'll get through this all together.